Brandon, I remember when we first started talking, when the governor first started with this mask thing, when he was asking people and suggesting to people wear masks. I remember you were kind of bothered by that. And we talked about, because I didn't understand, I said, why are people so upset? He's not requiring it. He's just asking people. And you said on this show, because people know what's coming, that this is a suggestion for now, but it's about to be a requirement later. Hey, you said that, so
thank you, Tyler. I was going to say it if you didn't, but
okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
You were right about something for once. So how did you perceive? Was this kind of like, yep, I told you so. I knew this was coming. Were you glad? Were you upset? I'm interested to hear your reaction to this. I really am.
Tyler, there's so much to unpack here, and I could go on for a long time about it, but I'm going to try to condense my thoughts briefly.
Okay.
The mask debate from the time that this virus hit has been a total cluster from every level of leadership, from the CDC to the World Health Organization to the White House and to the governor's house. I think it's been such a mess all the way down because it's all been conflicting information. If you go on our website, lexbuds.com, you'll see there was a point, Tyler, in late March where the Surgeon General laughed at people for wearing masks. You're aware of that, right?
I remember that. Yep, I remember that.
Okay. All the data, according to the CDC, said people wearing masks is actually worse because you fiddle with the mask, you put bacteria on it, and lo and behold, you're actually causing yourself more harm because you're putting germs on the mask by touching it and touching your face more. So everything that we were told is now wrong. And this is from the top leaders in the world.
The experts. The experts.
This is the problem. It has been such mixed messaging, and it goes from the organizations to the White House to the State House. It's been a mess. That's my biggest problem. Okay? I mean, you knew it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think he primed the pump a little bit a couple days before and said this is, got a big announcement. We all knew what it was. And cases have increased, but as I've mentioned too previously, anytime you leave the house, we're going to have more cases. Now, one thing that does upset me is the fact that this is something we could have done in March instead of shutting down the state economy and killing jobs. Because now he has said we just need to wear masks and we can keep things open. That would have been a much better way to go than shutting the whole thing down and telling people to hunker down in their living rooms and wait for the Andy at 5 update.
Kind of like the Adam Sandler information that could have been useful yesterday.
Yes, exactly. That's what upsets me the most. And I'm still very angry about it. And I'll say this again till the cows come home. Everybody was posting Kentucky's number one in COVID response. We are number one in unemployment in a state that can't handle that kind of economic turmoil. It's embarrassing to me that it happened. I'm still very upset with the governor about it because it didn't have to be that way. If we can go to a system where everything's open and everybody wears a mask, why couldn't we try that first? You know what I mean? Instead, we just killed it. We absolutely pummeled the economy in Kentucky, which is already fragile.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said we're number one in unemployment. We were probably already number 1 or 2 or 3 before this. So it's not like we had,
Well, here's the problem.
That it was just already in this great economy and Governor Beshear destroyed it. Okay, we already were probably at the top of that unemployment list to start with.
Here's the problem. When the national unemployment is 10 or 11% and your state is over 30%, that's a big jump. That's too much. Before this, there were some states, the national average was 4 or 5% unemployment, and Kentucky was a little bit higher, marginally, but it wasn't this much. It may have been like 6 or 7 or 8%. It sure as heck wasn't 30. It wasn't 3 times the national average. It really upsets me. It angers me that people's lives have been destroyed, that it didn't need to happen. I accept what he said. I don't like wearing a mask, but I will do it because it's mandated.
Mm-hmm.
So I will follow the rules and move along. It doesn't bother me that much. It's a minor inconvenience, but if that's what the rules are, I will say that I did like his press conference. Okay, you know how I feel about said governor.
You have some distaste.
You have, well, not that. Just from what I just said is where it came from. I had nothing, bad before that, but now I do. I will say that he handled the press conference well, and that's the kind of authority he probably should have used initially as the option. Now, the interesting part is there is a lawsuit challenging that authority, right before his announcement, saying basically don't listen to these executive orders. So there's a lot on the plate. But as far as the mask goes, I don't care. I'm fine. I've dealt with a lot worse crap during the coronavirus. I'm good. If you know what I mean. It's been a crap year for the most part, except for the fact that we started an awesome podcast and doing some new things. But I mean, it's just been like, okay, whatever. Let's just move on, because a lot of businesses were requiring them anyway. So I don't know. Yeah,
you hit on a lot of things. I'm going to try to organize my thoughts. I have so many things running through my head right now. I think you make a very good point that the mask issue was handled poorly from the get-go, that nobody knew whether masks helped. We were told they don't. Now we're told that they do. Hey, I feel like I read all kinds of things saying that certain types of masks, like the cloth mask, don't really work because, they get contaminated or whatever, that, certain types of masks are better than others. Well, if that's the case, why don't we require certain type of mask be worn? You've got people making homemade masks that probably have no medical benefit whatsoever. If that's the case, are we just wearing masks so that we can feel better and feel safer and feel like we're doing something?
According to Dr. Fauci in March, yes. But go on.
So that to me still is frustrating when I see things like that say some masks are better than others. Well, what the heck? Why are we wearing these if they're not truly helping? So there's that. But the people that are driving me crazy are the ones who are posting on social media, posting videos, pictures of themselves not wearing a mask, saying, "You can't make me wear a mask. I'm an American. I can do what I want. You can't tell me what to do."
Tyler, I didn't hear that. Can you do that impression one more time? My audio went out. I didn't hear that whole thing. Can you repeat that one more time?
You can replay it later on the podcast.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't get what people refusing to wear masks. Like, you think of all the other things that government makes you do. Okay, you every 2 weeks have money taken out of your paycheck to give to the government. When the government puts up a red light in the middle of the road, you stop at it. You talk about all the things that government makes you do. You literally have a number. Everybody has a social security number assigned to you. You have a picture ID government issued. All these things that the government does, but where people seem to be now drawing the line in the sand is, okay, they're going to make me wear a mask? How dare you? We have laws requiring people to wear a seatbelt for their own safety. I remember when the seatbelt thing came out. We were kids when the state law changed to require people to wear a seatbelt.
Yep.
I remember a lot of people being upset about it too, honestly. But really, this is where you're going to draw your line. During the middle of a pandemic, when we are trying to find a way to keep this disease from spreading, maybe this mask thing helps, maybe it doesn't. But what can it hurt to wear one? And let's see. If it doesn't help, then I guess we can reevaluate and see. But the people that are saying, "I'm an American, you can't make me wear a mask," give me a freaking break. Like, do you realize how many things are controlled by the government in your life every single day?
It's scary.
But I don't hear you complaining about those so much. So that part infuriates me. And I guess the last thing that makes me the most upset is how this has become a political issue. Masks have become a partisan political issue. It has become a Republican-Democrat issue. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that all Trump supporters don't wear masks. Obviously, you're a Trump supporter and you do wear a mask. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the majority of people who are anti-mask, anti the government telling me I have to wear a mask, I feel like the majority of those are Trump supporters.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Do you think that's fair or not?
I would say that when you typically talk about people that want their own personal freedom and not government control, I think that you're talking about a certain section of a certain party, yes.
Okay. And so the fact that President Trump and Vice President Pence and all that administrations still are refusing to wear a mask.
They just did.
I saw that headline. I was going to say, I saw the headline this weekend. He went to visit a military hospital, I believe. And it was a national headline that Trump wore a mask in public for the first time. I'm like, well, that's great. My 2-year-old has been wearing a mask for the last couple months, so I'm glad our president decided he was going to finally wear one. Kudos, Mr. President, finally wearing a mask. I think a lot of this issue, a lot of this debate, all this politicizing of the mask issue goes away if President Trump just puts a mask on. Because I think a lot of people are emboldened by the fact that he has himself declared, wear a mask if you want to. It's not a big deal.